Huples Cat, coming to you with the December Apocabox, which sadly arrived today on about 4th or 5th of January. I don't know what the date is. Anyway, I'm going to open it live in real time. Though I did see Old School Prepper's video on it and I thought it was meh, except there was one item I thought was good. I really can't remember what on earth it was. Let's see. A controversy online recently when Frederick from the Prepared Norseman, a superb channel, was it Frederick? Anyway, somebody said Bear Grylls, Gerber knife. Yep, I've been using it for years, got it cheap with a bunch of them from Costco probably about 8 years ago. And it works, easy to sharpen, and it works. Good for opening boxes. Alright, it's rattling. Maybe Customs got this, but usually Customs write on it when they interfere with stuff. It's definitely been opened. Alright, let's see what I actually have in this box. Oh, there you go, it's still stapled there. There we go. Alright. When they started this, they had decent fire tinder in here, but now they just use newspaper, which is more environmental. There's a skills challenge. They always do a skills challenge. Back to the basics box. Alright. Oh. Interesting stuff. Alright, what else is in here? Oh yeah, this is all coming back to me. Yeah, Old School Prepper mentioned this. It's a website and you go to it and you pay 20 American or more for online skills, and she was not sure about it. But when I actually looked at the site, not in detail, I looked at it. If you like online learning, the modules related to this mostly are done by people that know what they're talking about, which is a shame, because it's always fun to watch idiots describe stuff, right? But yeah, I would actually check this out. There is a discount if you're an Apocabox user and you use the discount. So this is just the outdoorcore.com website. I am not sponsored by Apocabox. I am not sponsored by these people. But this is what's actually there. You can see the instructions are. If they send you supplies, the price is high. So if it's just the online lessons, I've been looking at these and I'm actually kind of intrigued. I might do one. I have to find an easy one because I have no skills whatsoever. Yeah, I love that. Outdoor, make your own packs. I might try that. There's a couple here I'm really interested in. Obviously, a lot of the harvesting ones are going to be very geographically centered. These are some of the instructors, so you can see who they are. You probably heard of a few of them. So yeah, it's an interesting idea, and I think it's pretty cool that people are actually doing it now. One of the things is that this is going to be one of those revenue stream things. If you have a specific skill, shoot them a small video and ask them if you can be on their course line. I think stuff like this is pretty interesting, and I think it's probably the way it's going to go. People don't have the time to actually go to visit people and spend 2 or 3 days there and practice all of this stuff, which is a huge shame. Build the Perfect Bug Out course online. 53 lessons. 53 lessons. Get a bag, shove stuff in it. A message from Creek Stewart.
Hi there, my name is Creek Stewart, and I can't be more excited that you're interested in possibly taking my Build the Perfect Bug Out Bag e-course. I've been a survival instructor for over 20 years, and I'm the author of a Build the Perfect Bug Out book series that you may be familiar with. It all started with Build the Perfect Bug Out Bag.
And I like these. I always like these. I always find these a bonus. These are about $6 or $10 American for me to buy, and it's a fairly decent chunky book. This one's natural cordage. I mean, realistically speaking, you're probably unlikely to run out of cordage, unnatural cordage, but you know, it's always nice to know. Detailed little book, nice pictures in it, describes how to do it, describes different methods. These are a good reference library, always happy to get that. Ah, yes. Yes. You know what though, maybe he listened to me and others. It is a decent make, Gerber, and it is made in China, of course, because American made means Chinese. You have to look carefully these days if you actually want to promote your own country. And it's a multi-tool. There's 7 tools, you can put it on your keychain. They're the 7 tools. Will I put it on my keychain? No. What else is in the bag? Oh yeah. Now this is coming back to me. This is a piece of bone. As a vegan, I don't approve of this. It's fairly sharp, and you can sharpen it up and you make a spear out of a bone. However, again, I have quite a few throwing knives which I intend to use for spears, so this is more of a fun thing. Bear in mind, Apocabox is also bushcrafter. A little drawstring bag. I love these little bags, I really do. This is the Survival Striker. What's the Survival Striker, you ask? Yes, I don't know. Alright, let's dump it out and look. A tin. Useful for making char cloth, I think, maybe. Certainly wouldn't be waterproof, this, and you probably couldn't boil much water in it. Ah. Flint and steel. Okay, and a baggie. If you're going to have a fire kit and you're going to use a Ziploc, use 2. Don't just use 1. So actually with this, they actually use 2 inside, which is a good idea. This, I believe, is tinder. This is some sort of a line. Emergency duct tape with fish hooks. And a piece of stone. A tiny piece of stone for people with tiny little hands. So I guess the idea is you are fine to make fire with this kit. Praxis Prepper recommends these as a long-term solution to fire. Of course, this will all wear out, but slowly, and it's a useful bushcrafting tool. It's not something I would recommend. I think it's quite easy to have quite a large number of big lighters. I think it's quite easy to use a ferro rod. This to me is going back to the days where neither of those things existed, and frankly these sort of things for me go in a specific box that I keep for, oh no, what have I got to help me out because I have nothing left. I don't think it has any place in prepping. It definitely has a place in bushcrafting. Oh yeah, and this one has a little nodule here, so you can use it as a base for fire. It also has a couple of clips, so you can, I guess, make things, tie things. These are always actually a useful thing to have that I don't really see people carrying much. I always carry a few of these. And that's it for that kit. What else is in the box? Oh, a draw knife. A big bag. I do like these bags, these are really useful. They're not waterproof, so you can actually put nuts and stuff in these and tie them in the middle of a stream. What's in this? Okay. The world's smallest amount of paracord. Always have way more paracord than you need, and bank line and both, or either or. A couple of sticks, piece of wood. Oh yeah, duh. This is a draw knife. Now, old school prepper warned me. This is sharp. So this is probably one of the world's smallest draw knives. I guess you can put the paracord through there and tie it on, and then you can plane wood with this. Again, I would prefer to use a modern commercial mechanical draw saw, and I would have them. But again, this will go into the box with the, oh no, I have nothing left, and what have I got kit. So this is kind of my prepping for prepping type of items that I would use, because you should be prepped with modern technology, and you should be prepped with modern equipment, because it's going to make life a lot easier than it is going back to the 1700s. The 1700s were kind of brutal, and there's no particular reason why you need to go back to the 1700s and rely on bones, spears and all the rest of it. Now obviously if it's a global SHTF and we never recover at some point, these will come in handy. That point will be long after I've died. There's so much stuff around, so many pots, so many knives in everybody's kitchens, that you really don't need to sort of doodle around with stuff like this, except as a bushcrafting hobby. So this is the instructions for the dog bone draw knife. Reptile works which she uses, and I will warn you they rust, so use oil on them and keep them dry. And a high carbon steel draw knife. 2 wooden handles and 30 inches of 550 paracord. I don't particularly need 550 paracord for this, but anyway. And shows you how to use it and what to do with it. Good idea. Have you ever been lost in the forest? Never again. Leather, of course, because we don't care about animals, and a piece of wood with the world's tiniest little button compass in them. These little button compasses are kind of endemic. A lot of people use them as a backup compass in survival kits and hiking kits. I say no. Have a decent compass that you use, and have a cheaper version of a decent sized compass that you use. If you have nothing else to find direction and there's no sunlight because of a wildfire and you've disorientated, something like this could actually be very helpful. Yeah, okay. So for the non-vegans around, cheddar cheese crickets. Okay, this falsely claims that this is good food for the planet and good for you. It isn't. The ingredients: roasted crickets. It wasn't very good for the crickets now, was it? All the other animals that eat crickets, if nearly 8 billion people start eating crickets every day. Okay, whey, brackets milk, of course milk. Then cheddar cheese, cultured pasteurized milk, salt enzymes, salt, buttermilk powder, cornstarch. So they put all of this fat into this because people are buying no-fat yogurts and no-fats, this, that and the other. So the dairy industry has all of this fat. So they're injecting it into almost everything. So having dumped all of this stuff into it, which if you're not vegan, you might actually like cheddar cheese and milk and ignore the health consequences. However, the next ingredient is natural flavour. Of course there's natural flavour in this, because the milk and stuff that they put into this is gone off fat, and they have to hide that, so they inject chemicals into it. Now, natural flavours, the same as natural colourings, do not mean they're not carcinogenic, right? They're not actually stuff that they've gone out there with a little bucket and found on the ground. Oh, there's cheddar cheese flavour, and picked it up and put it in this. It is industrialised, and it's derived on a natural thing, a natural chemical, and they've artificially created it. That's what natural flavourings are. So actually, if you ever buy any food product that has natural flavourings or natural colourings in it, don't. Buy food, eat food, grow food. And it gets even more amusing. So to stick all of this gunk on it, they add cornstarch. Then they add lactic acid, probably to stop it going rancid. Then they add silicon dioxide to make free flowing, because otherwise it would just be a clump of fat stuck to a bunch of poor burned crickets. I do hope that they gas the crickets before they burn them, but in this world I don't know. So that's all for me. I rate this box a B for me. There's very little in this I find of any use at all, but to be honest, the only product that I'm actually happy to get is this one. But I'm a difficult customer to satisfy. So what would you say about back to the basics? Do you think that going back to using flint and steel and bone knives would ever occur in any SHTF event within your lifetime? My argument would be no way. But if you enjoy bushcrafting, if you enjoy pretending for an afternoon or a day that it's 1600, and that you've just come off the boat into the virgin North American wilds, stuff like this is good. And of course the First Nations people use stuff like this for years and years, and the Inuit still do to a large degree, but wherever anybody was using these found things called metal, they went with metal. Why? Because these break. They're not very durable, very expensive to make in terms of labour and time. Whereas this is poured metal. So technology is a good thing, and a lot of preppers out there online actually have small scale home forges where they can make metal knives. And as I said, in any conceivable SHTF where you survive, I mean obviously a 100-kilometer or 1,000-kilometer asteroid hitting the Earth, we're all dead. But any conceivable event where even a tiny fraction of the population survives, there will be a ton of available metals are in the wreckage of people's homes. There will be a ton of available metals just by digging into old garbage tips from the 1950s and before. There won't be a shortage of metal to make basic products with. There will be a shortage of metal to restart civilization with, but that's a whole different thing. Apocabox is going to the individual. It's saying you're special, you have the skills to survive anything. Be ready, be prepared. And reasonable message, probably a fantasy. You probably need this rather than this for long-term survival. There's no particular reason if you're buying an Apocabox or anything similar to that, or prepping to any degree, why you would ever need to make a bone knife, in my opinion. Of course, the fantasists out there will say, well, if I'm in an aeroplane and it gets shot down by the Iranians, because let's face it, they're warmongers, aren't they? And I end up in the forest, okay, you're probably dead, but okay, you end up in the forest, there's nothing wrong with you. We've all seen Lost, you know, planes can smash into the beach and the third of the passengers who are attractive can survive, except for Hurley. Though Hurley's kind of cute. And the ugly people and old people, very old people, die. Anyway, so yeah, then you might need to make a bone knife. I would argue that you can easily carry stuff on planes that you can use as knives if you need to. Now, it's not a good idea anymore to carry something like this onto a plane, but there's no particular reason why you can't use a piece of tin or why you can't use a glass bottle from the plane to actually fashion a crude knife, which I think would be a lot faster and long lasting than this. That's the only conceivable event I can see. The other issue, of course, is where you can get the bone from. You're going to find a moosey and attack it with your teeth. You know, you are going to have to make a spear. You're going to have to use fire. You're going to have to hopefully have some matches and a bick on you when the plane goes down so you can make fire easily without labour because you have got no food maybe. And that's about it. So I'm not really that impressed with this kit. I'm really not. I'm kind of sad that I haven't unfortunately unsubscribed to it. I thought it was on a credit card that got terminated by the bank, but it isn't. So I'll keep getting them for now, and as I said, not that impressed. But he is putting in better quality items than he did a few months ago. He was trying to drop, I think, the costs. But I do think he needs to look at the pricing of this kit. I think it's time to up the price. I'd rather pay another $10 or $15 American every 2 months. It's 2 monthly this, not every month. And get more substantially long-lasting items. I'm not saying $100, I think that's ridiculous. It's $60 US right now. It costs me $65 because I'm in Canada, which is a bargain. Usually the rip is wild. But yeah, not the greatest kit. 2 nice bags for me, like these bags. Great for cleaning out walnuts, and I like these because these are always fun. But yeah, overall, it's a B for me. So remember, in SHTF, tomorrow will be always worse than today, unless you prep. And if you do prep using the knowledge we've accumulated over the last 200 years, not just the knowledge we accumulated in the previous millennia before then. Bye. Becky, Becky, Becky. This has been a Bad Terrier production 2020.